Yep, just like me, you were supposed to change out that bicycle tire months ago. But because it's on the rear of your e-bike, you don't know what kind of witchcraft you've got to perform to get that tire taken off. But that procrastination ends today, because what we're going to attempt to do is that we're going to show you how we take off our rear e-bike wheel and let you understand that with just a little bit of know-how and a lot of patience, it's really not that big a deal. We need to get this bike turned upside down so we can get to the rear tire, or get to the tires anyway. Now, you can do that in a bike stand if you want to, and I've done it in a bike stand before, flipping my bike upside down, but these are 55-pound bikes. Yours are probably even heavier than that, and you just don't want to have that kind of weight on my cheap bike stand. So I just flip it upside down. I find it's easier anyway, and it will balance. So first thing I want to do is I want to protect this dashboard on the bike. So I'm going to use this and put this down. It's a moving blanket. I'm going to put this down about where I think my handlebars are going to hit. All right. So how I do this, you might want to move back a little bit so you can kind of see the bike and everything here, and don't trip over that. All right.
No, don't want to trip.
So what I do is that with the rear brake, okay, on this side, what I do is I go forward and then I pull it back and then I apply that brake so I can stabilize that tire and not let it roll. And then I just ease my way back while I've got that tire on there to that part, and kind of see where I'm going to be hitting. Make sure I'm good. Pull my, there we go, moving brake inside a little bit, and we're in there. That's the hardest part of it. Making sure we got that. All right, so we've got this taken care of, and the next thing that we're going to do is start letting you know what's involved in taking this back tire off.
Right.
All right, the first thing that we need to do is get this wheel off of the bike. Now, let me tell you, this is what freaked me out at first, is that for some reason I thought it was an e-bike and there's going to be a whole bunch of crazinesses I was going to have to deal with to be able to get this off of here. But it's really pretty simple, okay? So the first thing you want to do is, look down here, Lace, is that this right here is where the power and information goes to your e-bike. So this is just a plug here that you just pull apart. I'm trying to make it so you can see it. And
I move over a little bit. There we go.
All right, and pull that apart. See that? Got that taken care of. And one of the other things I'm going to do, and just stay where you're at there, Lacey. I'm going to grab this because it has this little twisty tie right here that you need to get rid of. So I'm trying to hook this in here, and you got to be careful on this too, because you can see that your all of your wires are there.
Yeah,
so,
and it'd be very easy to snip them.
So don't snip off your wires when you're trying to get the zip tie off. All right. Okay. Next thing is that we have these little covers on here, and that just covers up the nut that's on there. And I'll work my way off, get that off of there, like that. And come around here on this side too, Lacey, you can see this one too. So right here is basically what I took off on the other side. That's that. It's just a little cover. So make sure you keep that cover and put it in a safe place. All right, so on our particular bike, we have fenders on there. So the fenders are they're screwed into the actual frame, so they have to come off before I can take my tire off. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'm just using I think it's a number 5 hex wrench here, and I just need to go in here and loosen this up, because right here this is hooked onto here, and I won't, unless I take this out, I won't be able to take this whole area out. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this guy up. And this is actually the first time that I've ever taken the the rear wheel off of Lisa's bike.
Yeah,
Taken
I've
it off
never
of mine
had my
several
rear
times.
tire. Yeah, I've never had my rear tire replaced.
All right, so now as you can see right here, these are going to go flying. So make sure that your bolts and everything. And I'm going to do this on the other side, exactly
All right,
the same thing. All right, you can see where I'm at here. Taking this guy out, and I always want to do it with the hex wrench on the wrong side to get it started. All right, got that guy going. And like I said, folks, you know what? I am not a bike mechanic. So I wanted to do this video so that you could see how it was done with somebody like myself who really doesn't know what they're doing, but they want to save some money and not have to take it to the shop and get it done. Money and also time, because sometimes it just takes time, and you know, you're not the only person at the shop that's, you know, got a problem with their bike. So you got to be patient, or you got to be like me, just muddle through it, learn how to do it, and get it taken care of. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to do is start taking the wheel off of there. All right, we're going to take the nut off of the bolt here so that we can get the wheel off of the frame. Now, one thing that I didn't mention is I found that if you take your gears and put it toward the middle of the cassette, and put it around 3 or 4, then it's easier to get that wheel out of there. I know there's a lot of bike mechanics out there who are like, well, of course that's what you do, but I found that out, so you might want to do that. So we'll get this off of here. I'm going to pull this kickstand out of the way, and you can use your tool that you came with your bike, or like here I just have this wrench. Take this off of here. I'm taking it off fully, and it's got a washer here, so remember the order for which you take these off. And then here's this little plate. Sometimes it's hard to get off of here, and I don't have to get it off here right now, but this little plate is what's making it so that this fender fits in there. That's why I had to take it out, to be able to pull that guy off of there. And one thing of note, this is keyed. It's flat on this side and flat on that side, and that fits down into this area here where it is keyed, so it can only go one way, and that's on both sides. All right, I'm going to take the other side off here. Lisa's going to come around.
Yep. Smoothly.
Yes, she is. And then over here is where the other bolt is. And we're going to do the same thing that we did on the other side, obviously. Just get that guy loose. And on this one, what I do is that since it's on this wire, I just let the bolt come all the way out and just let it rest on that wire. And the same thing with this little area here, or this little, I don't know what it's called, but it's a little thing that makes it so that it only keys one way. There's the washer, and then this little key thing. I'm not a mechanic, and I can't get it off because I'm old. All right.
I'm trying to see
wrestled him
there
off.
we go.
Okay, now I want to make sure that all of the parts that I have, I keep those in a safe place so I can know to put them back on. Also, it might be helpful to you to just go ahead and take a picture of it so that you know the order of the things that you were taking off onto your bike. So next thing we're going to do is see if we can pull this wheel off of here. Sometimes that can be a struggle, so let's see if that works for me. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to go ahead and get this wheel off of the bike. Now, like I said, this can be a little bit of a
tricky
struggle, okay, I've found. And sometimes it just depends on how often you've had it off. So I like to take the derailleur, try to get it out of the way as best I can, and then kind of rock it to get it back and forth. I have struggled with this for 15 minutes before, okay? So if you are having the same trouble that I am, understand that that's
just
normal.
part of it.
Okay,
Yep.
That's normal. All right, so I'm getting this up here now, and I got to get it past the derailleur, which I screwed that up at first. All right, and now I just want to pull this out of the way of my electronics there, and woohoo, folks, look at that. I got this guy off of here. Now, one thing here, at least come in here,
All right.
I want to show you. I have found that once this is off, then this right here, which is very important to key this in,
get lost. It'll just fall right off. So make sure on this side you take it off. If you look on this side, even if it comes off, it'll just go under the wire. So keep an eye out for that type of stuff.
All right, so now that I've got the wheel off of here, of course I need to get the tire off so I can put my new tire on. And there's a couple things though before I do that I want to show you. On this part, on an e-bike, this right here is a pretty sensitive area. So make sure that when you're putting it down on the ground or something, make sure that you are protecting this part of it. It looks sensitive to me, okay? So that's what I'm gonna do. All right, so that's just a little note. So now the first thing is that we need to go ahead and just grab something and let the air out of the tire. And one thing that I wanted to say is, you know, when I'm doing this here, this is probably maybe the fifth time that I've done this.
I think so.
So I've not had a lot of experience changing out this hub. Now I have with other bikes,
Right.
Okay,
Acoustic bikes.
Acoustic bikes, but not with this. And what I find is that it's pretty much the same. There's just a few things that if you don't do it all the time, like I don't change tires a lot. I've got flat out in mind. Check out our flat out video. You know, you'll figure out things as you go along. And that's pretty much why we're doing this video, is so that the average Joe can at least get this part on their bike and have a little bit of peace of mind.
That's right.
All right, so I got this on here. I've got that out. And now
Comes the
I need
time.
to start getting this. I gotta get a little more air out of here. Oh. Real time, folks. This is how it works. All right. I think I got as much
Air as you can get out of there.
as I can get out. Okay. Sounds good. All right. So now I need to come around here, Lise, because I'm going to start taking getting this off of here. And this is kind of a difficult part. And for me, this is not a big deal. If you were changing your tire in the field, you might be a little more careful. But I'm not using this tire, nor am I going to be using this inner tube again. So don't care. But you still want to make sure that you're not injuring your
rim.
Your rim, okay? So you just got to take your time and get this guy broken down away from here. And I still probably have too much air in that inner tube. But I'm going to see if I can do it without it. Tough part. All right, I think I get more air out of this inner tube. 1 second, I'll get the air out of there, and then I'll get right back with you. All right, so now I wrestled through that, and I got this guy off of here on one side. We got one side here first, as you can see, and if you were just doing your inner tube, then you could just pull this guy out of here without taking your tire off completely. But we are going to be taking that tire off completely. So I'm going to go ahead and just rip the whole thing off. And as soon as I get that off of there, then I'll get back with you. Okay, so I ain't going to lie. This was tough.
It was tough to get off.
It took us probably about 15, 20 minutes to get it off. And that's just, I mean, it's not typical. My other one didn't do that. So that's what we're here for. Show you that sometimes things don't turn out like you think they might.
Right.
So I didn't want to have to drag you through all of that. So we did cut that part out on there. Okay. So what I need to do now that I have my tire off of here, is I want to show you here too, just for sake of, I got this off of here, and Lisa wrecked her bike last fall,
yeah.
So it's been almost a year.
Yeah.
And they put in new cycle tape here, but you can see how much it's moved around on there. Now, I'm not the guy who knows about this kind of rim tape and whatever, so I'm going to have to get with my bike shop about this type of thing. But anyway, I just want to point that out so you can see things like that. So anyway, first things first, I'm going to go ahead and get this tire or the wheel put back in here, and I'm going to need an inner tube, right? So I'm going to find out where my inner tube hole is.
which is right here. At least I see this right here where I've got my inner tube hole. I'm going to put that in there while I've got it here. And then I'm just going to kind of filter my inner tube on around the rim while it's in the tire as best I can. So now I'm going to attempt to start getting this little tire bead situated back in here, and I probably want to put this in my lap. I've done that before and it's helped out, but you know, I'm going to try it this way while we're filming and get this all the way around on that side of my wheel. Getting there. Don't think I need my tire lever just yet. Muscle this guy around. I'm looking pretty good. Now I need my tire lever. Can't find it. There it is. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can push this guy right on around. Any of you guys have any kind of tips on how to make these easier? That's why I'm making this video, so that people like myself don't have to struggle like this to get some of the simplest things done. All right, now I'm gonna use my tire lever in here, probably the wrong way, and see if I can't get this guy lifted over my rim. There we go. Look at that.
That was alarming sounding, but I guess that's what it does.
All right, we got one side on, and now I need to get the other side on. So I'm gonna try to do this in my lap. I'm gonna flip this up. All right, and I'm gonna squish this guy down all the way around. Look, I'm doing so good. I'm doing so good. Again, if you guys out there know an easier way to get this guy taken care of, help a brother out. All right. So it looks like I've got this part going. Only one little part left to get. Pull my tire lever out. Getting him, getting him, getting him. Staying as close as I can to the edge over here, as not to put too much stress on this
on the rim, yeah.
Rim edge here. But it's a tight fit. Every time it makes a noise like that, I freak out.
I know, me too. Oh no, I'm gonna have to buy a new wheel.
We're doing it so you don't have to.
That's right.
Almost there, folks.
It is tough. This is why it was hard to get it off. It's just as hard to get it back on almost.
Yep. All right, we got one more area here that we got to get on, the last little part, and pop. Look at that.
It is on.
Look at my smiling face up here. I got that guy on there. And it looks like I've got it all the way around. And when we start putting air into this, we'll check that bead all the way around and make sure that that's nice and clean. But tire, inner tube on the bike. We'll start, we'll get some air here in just a second. All right, so now that I've got the tire on the rim and everything here, got my inner tube in there, I'm gonna go ahead and pump this up. Now, you would think, well, let's just go ahead and pump it up and we got it taken care of. But one thing that you wanna be conscious of is that when you put this on here, you've gotta get the tire seated. There we go, got that pump on there. Mm-hmm. You've gotta get it around here. So get in here, Lace. Right in between here, this junction between, you might be a little close.
I think
junction right here between this and the tire is where we're talking about, okay? So that's where you want to watch and make sure that all the way around the tire, it's nice and
even. So I'm gonna do this a little at a time. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it just a little bit at a time. I'll let it do that, I'll seat it, and then go on, and then finally fill it up at the end. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that right now.
All right.
Okay, so I got about 2.5 pounds of pressure, and get down here at least, kind of show you what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm kind of pulling. I'm gonna show over here, maybe a little easier to see. I'm pulling against this so that it's pulled out all the way around, so that, like, you can kind of see some of these graphics, so that these graphics are even all the way around. Of course, we just caught a
trash truck.
A trash truck. All right, so I'm gonna go a little bit further with this. I'm kind of feeling it on the other side as I go along too, kind of pulling that as I go along all the way around. But it feels pretty good, so I'm gonna go a little further. Okay, I want to check this other side over here now and make sure that that side is looking good. And it looks to me like it's coming along pretty good.
Hold on, you're going so fast I can't keep up with you.
Sorry.
That's okay.
All right, looks like we're doing good. You can see this graphics right here. They look pretty good in here. So I think that's good. Right about in this area right here is what I'm kind of watching. All right, I'm gonna go a little bit further up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let this tire go ahead and fill up, and I will show you. And if I have any problems with it not seating in there correctly, I'll show you as we go along. So we did get this tire back on the rim, okay? Again, it took us probably about a half hour, 45 minutes to get it back on.
It was tough.
And I'm not really sure that I've got it exactly right anyway, because it's just kind of tough to get the tire back on straight, even. So I've got some areas here, look at this. I've got some areas here where it looks like it's not even all the way around. It's black up to there, and I've tried several different ways. I've even put soap water on there to let it lubricate and pull it out. So we just gotta put it on there and see what we get.
That's right.
So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and get started. Now, one thing to understand is that, remember, I had these right here. These are the keys that key these in. And I'm gonna grab this real quick. Okay. And on the other side here is the other key. Now, I have to make sure that, look at this right here, you can see that this little part right here, which looks like this little part right here, needs to be in the same orientation. So I've got to do it the same way on the other side.
Let me get on the other side.
So
there.
that's what I'm doing. I'm putting it there. This part is to the top. So that's what I've got.
And then the other side.
All right, now I'm going to go ahead and just put this guy on here and see what we got. Now remember, these have to key inside here, and I'll show you how they go in here right now. All right, now pray for us, because this could be a tough way. So first things is just the opposite of what we did when we took it off. Get this wire in here, get that protected. Okay, got that. And now the only other thing is that, come over here, Lisa. I want you to see something.
Let me come over there.
Right over here would be best, right over here.
Right.
So you can see this right here is my brake rotor, and then this right here is the pads down there. So I've got to slide that down in there so that it is even with that area. Also got to get my derailleur back out of there. So I'm getting it close, just taking my time and easing it down to that area, just like that. Okay, now notice that I got it down past there, but this is not keyed in. See, this won't let this slip down in here. You can see under there, it's just not quite in there. So what I have to do is I got to rotate this. See, this rotates, and they see that fall right back down into that slot.
Now it's keyed in there and it can't go any further. What we're going to do now is go ahead and put everything back together once we got the bike, or we got the tire back into the frame. We'll do that in just a second. Okay, so now that we've got the tire onto the bike frame, now we just need to reverse the things that we did from the beginning to get the rim off of there. So, like I said, I had these guys, and I made sure I kept them in a little container so that I wouldn't lose them on
Here,
there.
tilt it a little bit more so I can see it. There
How's
we
that?
go.
You can see those?
Yep.
I just put everything in there.
All right.
Okay, and so now on this side, come on down here, Lise. This is where I've got these guys that I'm going to put right back on there. Remember, this guy goes first on there. Got to get him in that. He's keyed. See, it's a little square situation there. So he can only go one way. And you got to apparently fidget with it until you can get it. There you go. All right, and so now that lines up with that hole right there. See that? Okay,
Yep.
Got it. Okay, now that washer goes on. Everything's just sliding off of here. And then once I get in there, I'm just going to make sure that I don't get the threads wrong. But I'm just barely going to put it on there, okay? I'm not going to put any more. I'm not going to tighten that down just yet, because what I need to do next, if I can get my fingers to work, I'm going to go ahead and put this fender on this side now that I have this in here. Now this is the thing that every single time, as a matter of fact, my bike, I've stripped it out.
I'm actually going to come around a little bit so I can see if I can get this a little bit better.
All right.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so now I've got this guy on there tightened down. One side of my fender.
Right.
All right, and I'm going to do the other side.
I'm going to come around to the other
Around.
side.
Why don't you stay right here?
All right.
And I'll be where I'm supposed to be.
All right.
All right, same thing as the other side. You can see this is keyed. You know, sometimes you can look at this stuff and go, looks like that side's been worn on the other side. So that's kind of what I look at. And put that guy on there. See, lines up with that like we wanted to. Then we had a washer. And then the nut. That goes on there. And again, from experience, I learned to put this fender back on right about now. Makes it a little easier to deal with. All right, so put that through there. Get this guy on. Pray that I don't strip it, because I've done that before, as I told you before. That looks like it's going in good and easy. Okay, good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and tighten this down on these fenders. Good enough. I'll get this one tight. Good enough. All right. So now we're in here. We've got it back on, but we need to go ahead and get the get it tightened down. So I'm going to tighten this one down first. Over here. Make sure it's down to there. Tighten this guy down. All right. Yeah, it is. It's a monkey playing with a football. I mean, do it with tools, so don't laugh too loud. Okay, I'm just snugging that one up. And then I want to get this one going over here. Do it the same way.
This one's a little bit easier to see over
Yeah,
here.
a little easier to see. I'm going to snug that one up. I'll go ahead and tighten this one down now that we got that one snug. Now I want to be snug, but I don't want to be crazy with it. Just about like that. I'm going to snug this one up. Boop. And we're there. All right. So that's pretty much it as far as getting it back on the bike. Getting the rim and wheel back on the bike. Now we're going to hook up the electronics right back like we did before.
Right.
We'll do that right now. All right, so now this is the last part of actually getting the bike rim and wheel back on there, is to hook back up the electronics, and that's pretty easy to do. So down here, just like I said before, we've got this coming out of the hub motor, this wire, and this wire has this protector on it. We'll just move it here. Just be careful with it. Move it back into position. And I'll stick that back on in a second. But I want to run this wire up with this other one here. And I'm going to hook it back into this. Now, if you can see on here, there's an arrow right there. And on here, there is an arrow. And we just need to line those arrows up so that those pins don't get crossed. And just take your time. Don't rush it. Make sure you got it lined up and then just push it together, just like that. That's all you got to do. Then we just take this here. I'm going to grab a zip tie here and get that guy put on. That will finish that part of it. Got my zip tie here. It goes through this little thing here.
Let me move over so I can see that.
All right.
There you go.
And I'm just going to line those up on there, and make sure that those are snug and out of the way. And they are. And believe it or not, that's how that fits on there. All right. So, really, that's the hardest part of it, is just understanding that it's not a lot different than just an acoustic bike. You just got to make sure that you are conscious of some of the parts, where the parts go. Make sure you're not screwing those parts up. And understand that it is. If you're do-it-yourselfer like me, it's not going to be a 15-minute job. It's probably going to be an hour job. It might be a 2-hour job.
It might even be 3.
It might even be 3. But don't get discouraged. The more you do it, the easier it's going to be for you.
Right.
So we're going to take this out on the road and see if there's any problems. If there is, then we'll report those to you in just a minute. Okay, so Lisa's out and getting the bike test road and make sure everything's okay. But there's a couple things that I want to make sure that I say, and that is, it's very doable, but make sure that as a DIYer, you do all your homework and try as hard as you can. Okay, here comes Lisa. Here she comes. Here she comes. Uh-oh, here she comes. She's coming down. But try as hard as you can, because it really is a situation that you can actually do it. Yeah. So how did that work for you, Lisa?
It worked great. It seems like it's perfectly fine. It does feel a little different because it's a different kind of tire.
Yep.
But it worked out great. So,
Right.
But you know what?
What's that?
My brake pads. That's
Uh-oh.
going to be the next video, because my brake pads are terrible.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. Actually, if you'd like to see us work through getting her hydraulic,
Yes, my hydraulic brake pads changed. Yeah.
then we'll get that taken care of in the next video.
Right.
But you know what? I think that this, like I was saying before she came down, this is very doable. I think that if you just understand that it's gonna take a little bit.
Yeah, it's just got to take some patience and some time to get comfortable doing it.
Right.
If you've done it on an acoustic bike, then you can do it on this bike.
Yeah, the only difference
So-
is if you have a hub motor like we do, is that you've got to take that wire loose, and then just
Right.
be careful with the components.
Right. Now, if you've got a, not a hub motor, if you've got a, what's the other?
Mid-drive.
Mid-drive, then you probably don't have to worry about any of this stuff.
Probably
'cause
not.
It's just a
Just go
plain
right
old
on in
tire,
there.
right?
Get it taken care of.
So, but
All
you know what? I think we're done with the video.
I think we did it.
Yeah. And so you guys, if you like this video, then what you should do is you should come over to our channel and you should like and subscribe and get your butt outside.
All right, we'll see you guys in the next video.